welcome to the theater. I'm Clark Taylor, I'm director of the Wesleyan Players, and we're just tickled as can be to have a big packed house for our comedy tonight. I'd like to take care of just a little housekeeping before we start the show. If you would not mind, we are trying to bring the magic of live theater to you folks tonight. The actors and designers and the crew have worked really hard to try to create the world of 1937 into this little moment. So if you will please grab any of these things that make noise or interesting light shows and set them to silence. The first act runs about 50 minutes and we'll break for our intermission and come back for Act 2, which is about 45. If for any reason you need to leave, you can possibly wait until the end of the first act. To exit out this way would be great. We have actors running in and out with sharp objects, so you can wait for that to be fantastic. We have lovely concessions out there, so please feel free to partake of that. And I'm going to turn the show now over to the Wesleyan Players as we present, I keep saying prevent, Moss and Kaufman's classic comedy, You Can't Take It With You.
That kitchen's awful hot. What is it? I said that kitchen's awful hot. That new candy I'm making, it just won't ever get cool.
It's such a hot day. I said, you have to make candy today.
Well, I got a bunch of new orders. Ed went out and got a bunch of new orders.
My, if it keeps on like this, I suppose you'll be opening up a store.
That's what I was saying last night, but I said no. I want to be a dancer.
The only trouble with dancing is it takes so long. You've been studying for such a long time.
Only 8 years after all, Mother. You've been writing plays for 8 years. We started about the same time, didn't we?
Yes, but you mustn't count my first 2 years because I was learning to type.
I think the candy's hardened up now, Miss Heston. Oh, thanks, Reba. I'll bring some in, Mother. I want you to try it. Finish the second act, Miss Sycamore?
What, Reba?
I said, did you finish the second act?
Oh, no. I've just got Cynthia entering the monastery.
She was at the Kit Kat, wasn't she?
Well, yes, but she gets tired of the Kit Kat Club and knows it's a monastery, so she goes there.
Did they let her in?
Oh, yes, I made it Visitor's Day, so of course anybody can come. So she arrives on Visitor's Day and just stays.
You mean she stays all night?
Oh, yes, she stayed 6 years.
6 years? My bet she bust that monastery wide open.
6 years later.
Mr. Pina!
Yeah?
Mr. Pina, will you bring one of those new skyrockets, please? I want to show them to Miss Sycamore.
Yeah.
Look, Benny, what do you think of these little firecrackers we just made up? Listen. Nice, huh?
Yes, Paul. Dear, were you ever in a monastery?
No, I wasn't. Wait till you see the new rockets. Gold stars, then blue stars, then a bomb, and then a balloon. Mr. Pina thought of the balloon.
It's lovely. Did you do all that today?
Sure, we made up that one. Here we are. Look, Benny, it cost us 18 cents to make and we can sell them for 50. How many do you figure we can make before the 4th of July, Mr. Pina?
Whoa, we've got 2 weeks yet. What day you gonna take that stuff up to Mount Vernon?
Pretty soon. You know we got a lot of stuff made up. We're going to need a larger booth this year.
Look, Mr. Sycamore, I'm afraid the powder chamber's just a little bit too close to the balloon.
Well, we got the stars and bombs in between.
But that don't give the balloon time enough. A balloon needs plenty of time.
Come on, let's go down the cellar and try it.
All right.
Mr. Pina, if a girl you loved entered a monastery, what would you do?
I don't know, Miss Sycamore. It's been so long.
Miss Alice coming home to dinner tonight, Miss Sycamore?
What? Reba, I don't know. Maybe.
Well, I'll set a place for her. But she's only been home one night this week.
Yes, I know.
Miss Hessie's making some mighty good candy today. She's doing something new with the coconut.
Oh, that's nice.
Let's see. 6 and Mr. Pina. And if Mr. Vollenhoff comes, that makes 8, don't it? Yes, I better set for 8.
You know what, Reba? I think I'll put this play away for a while and go back to my war play.
I always like that when the war play, boom, boom. They'll be better when they're harder, mother, but try one. I want to know what you think.
They look lovely. What do you call them?
I think I'll call them love dreams.
Nice. I'm going back to my war play, Essie.
Oh, are you, mother?
I sort of got myself into a monastery and I can't get out.
Oh, well, it'll come to you. Remember how you got out of that brothel? The snakes look hungry. Did Reba feed them?
I don't know. Reba, did you feed the snakes yet?
No, Donald's coming, and he always brings flies.
Well, be sure to feed them before Grandpa gets home. You know how fussy he is about them.
Yes.
And take Groucho and Harpo with you into the kitchen. I believe I'll have another love dream.
Mr. Urbino was right about the balloon. It's too close to the powder.
Want to try a love dream, Mother?
No thanks. I gotta wash.
I'm going back to my war play, Paul.
Oh, that's nice. We're putting some red stars after the bombs and then the balloon. That ought to do it.
Mr. Kolnikov says I'm his most promising pupil.
You would think with 40 monks and one girl that something would have happened.
Yes! Hey, yes! Listen to this.
Oh, I like that. Did you write it?
No, Beethoven.
That's lovely. Got a lot of you in it. I made a bunch of new candy today, Ed.
Yeah?
You can take it around tonight.
All right. Now here's the finish. Now this is me. You like it?
That's fine, Ed. Remember tonight when Kolnikov comes.
Ed, why don't you and Essie have a baby? Well, I was thinking about it just the other day.
I don't know. We could have one if you wanted us to. How about it, Essie? Do you want to have a baby?
Oh, I don't know. I'm willing if Grandpa is.
Well, let's ask him.
Let's see here. Labor play, religious play, sex play. I know it's your someplace.
I was right about the balloon. It was too close to the powder.
Anything you want to put in, Mr. DePina? How about some more calling cards?
No thanks. I've already got the first 1,000.
Well, call on somebody, will you?
All right.
What have we got for dinner, Reba? I'm ready to print the menu.
Let's see. Cornflakes, watermelon, some of those candy Miss Essie made, and some kind of meat. I forget.
I think I'll set it up with bold-faced Cheltenham tonight. You know, if I'm going to take these new candies around, I better print up some descriptive matter after dinner.
Do you think anybody reads those things, Ed, that you put in the candy boxes? Oh, here's the war play. Poison gas. That must be Donald.
Hello, Reba.
Donald!
Evening, everybody.
Hi, Donald. How you been?
I'm pretty good, Mr. Ed. How you been, Miss Sycamore?
Fine. Donald,
Yes.
were you ever in a monastery?
No, I don't go to a place much. I'm on relief.
Yes, of course.
Here's the flies, Reba. Caught a big mess of them today.
We sure did.
I see you've been working, Miss Sycamore.
Yes, indeed, Donald.
How's Grandpa?
Fine. At Columbia this afternoon, the commencement ceremonies.
My, years certainly do roll around.
M-E-A-T. What's he go there for all the time, Betty?
I don't know. It's so handy just around the corner.
Oh, Donald. Mr. P and I are going to take the fireworks to Mount Vernon next week. Do you think you could give us a hand?
Yes, sir. Well, I can't take no money for it this year because the government finds out I'm working like a sore.
Oh. Ed, I got a wonderful idea in the bathroom just now. I was reading Trotsky. It's yours, isn't it?
Yeah, I left it there.
Who is it?
You know Trotsky, the Russian Revolution. Anyhow, it struck me as a great fireworks idea. Remember, the last days of Pompeii.
Oh, yes. Palisades Park. That's where we met.
Well, I'm going to do the revolution, a full-hour display.
Say.
Oh, that's wonderful.
The red fire's the flag. huh?
And the Tsar and the Cossacks.
And the freeing of the slaves?
No, Donald, the Russian Revolution.
Well, sir, you should have been there.
Hello, Grandpa.
That's all I can say. You should have been
Was
there.
it a nice commencement, Grandpa?
Wonderful. They get better every year. You don't know how lucky you are, you snake.
Big class this year, Grandpa? How many were there?
Must have been 2 acres and everybody graduated. Yes, sir, had much funnier speeches than they had last year.
You want to hear a good speech? You go up and hear Father Divine.
I'll wait. They'll have him in Columbia.
Donald, would you go in the kitchen and tell Reba that Grandpa's home and we won't wait for Miss Alice?
We made a new rock today, Grandpa. Wait till you see it.
Evening, Grandpa.
Even Mr. Rapino.
Did we make a fine rocket today, Mr. Nabina?
We certainly did.
Wonder why they don't have fireworks at those conventions.
Don't make enough noise. If you take a good commencement orator, he'll drown out a whole carload of fireworks. And say just as much, too.
But don't the graduates ever say anything, Grandpa?
No, they just sit there in cap and nightgown and take their diplomas. And along about 40 years, they suddenly say, "Where am I?"
Hello, Grandpa. Have a nice day.
Hello, have a nice day. Don't I even get kissed?
Excuse me.
I'll take a tomato, too. You know, I could have used a couple of these this afternoon.
Father?
No thanks.
Mother?
No thanks, dear.
Play something, Ed.
Grandpa, there's a letter that came through today.
Letter for me, but I don't know anybody.
It was for you, though. Had your name on it.
That's funny. Where is it?
I don't know. Mother, where's the letter that came for Grandpa today?
What, Essie?
The letter that came for Grandpa, where is it? Where is it?
No. I remember seeing the kittens on it.
Who was it from? Did you notice?
Yes, it was on the front.
Well, who was it?
United States government.
Really? I wonder what they wanted.
There was one before that. There was a couple of them.
Well, if any more come, I wish you'd give them to me.
Yes, Grandpa.
I think I'll go out to Westchester tomorrow and do a little snake hunting.
God is the state is God.
What's that?
God is the state is God.
Who says that?
Trotsky.
Oh, that's all right. I thought you said it.
It's not for printing, you know. Good and short. G-O-D space I-S space T-H-E space.
And so the beautiful princess came into the palace and kissed her father, and her mother, and her grandfather.
Hello, darling.
Hi, Grandpa. So, what do you think? They turned into the Sycamore family. Surprised?
Oh, Alice, I like it.
Do you?
It's new, isn't it?
Looks nice and summery.
Where'd you get it?
I took a walk during lunch hour.
You've been taking a lot of walks lately. That's the second new dress this week.
I just like to brighten up the office every once in a while. I'm known as the Kay Francis of Kirby and Company. Well, what's new around here in the way of plays, snakes, ballet dancing, and fireworks? Dad, I'll bet you've been down in that cellar all day.
Huh?
I'm going back to my war play, Alice.
Really, Mother?
And play Alice that Beethoven thing you wrote.
You know, you can mail a letter all the way from Nicaragua now for 2%.
Kittens, my virginity is a priceless thing to me.
Listen, people. Listen. I'm not home to dinner. A young gentleman is calling for me.
Really? Who is it?
Well, isn't that nice?
I did everything possible to keep him from coming here. But he's calling for me.
Well, why don't you both stay to dinner?
No, I want him to take you in easy doses. But don't make it any worse than you can help. Don't read him any plays, Mother. And don't let a snake bite him, Grandpa, because I like him. I wouldn't dance for him tonight, Essie, because we're going to the Monte Carlo Ballet.
Can't do anything. Who is he? President of the United States?
No, he's Vice President of Kirby and Company, Mr. Anthony Kirby Jr.
The boss's son.
Well,
Boss's son, just like the movies.
That explains all the new dresses.
And not being home for dinner for 3 weeks.
Why, Sherlock Holmes.
are you going to marry him?
Of course, tonight. Meanwhile, I have to go up and put on my wedding dress.
Is he good looking?
Yes, in a word. Oh dear, what time is it?
I don't know. Does anybody know what time it is?
Mr. Nabina might know.
It was about 5 o'clock a couple hours ago.
I ought to know better, shouldn't I ask you people. Will you let me know the minute he comes, please?
Of course, dear.
Yes, I know, but I mean the minute he comes.
Why, of course.
Well, be sure.
Well, what do you think of that?
She seems to like him, if you ask me.
I should say so. She's got it
If
bad.
they get married, I'll have the wedding right here, right in this room.
Now wait a minute, Penny. This is the first time he's called for the girl.
You only called for me once.
Young people are different nowadays.
Oh, I don't know. Ed came to dinner once and just stayed.
I knew how think it's wonderful, don't you, Grandpa?
She certainly seems happy about
He
it.
must be crazy about her. Maybe he's the one who's been calling her every night. Oh, that must be him. Reba, don't worry, I'll answer it. Now remember what Alice said and be very nice to him.
All right, let's take a look at him.
Why, hello, welcome to our little home.
How do you do?
I'm Mrs. Sycamore, Alice's mother, and this is Essie, Alice's sister, and Grandpa and her father, Mr. Sycamore, and this is Ed, Essie's husband. Now come right in and make yourself right at home.
I'm afraid you must be making a mistake.
How's that?
My card.
Wilbur C. Henderson, Internal Revenue Department.
That's right.
What can we do for you?
Does Mr. Martin Vanderhoff live here?
Yes, sir, that's me.
Mr. Vanderhoff, the government would like to talk about the little matter of income tax.
Income tax.
Do you mind if I sit down?
No, just go right ahead.
Thank you. Now, Mr.
Mother,
Van-
is that Mr. Kirby?
No, it isn't, darling. It's an internal something or other. Pardon me.
Mrs. Sycamore. Oh, shoot.
What is it?
Look, these things aren't going off. See?
Not now, Mr. Rapino. Mr. Grandpa's missing. Pardon me. Now, Mr. Vanderhoff. We've written you several letters about this, but have not received any reply.
Oh, that's what those letters were.
I told you they were from the government.
Anyway, Mr. Vanderhoff, it appears you've never paid an income tax.
That's right.
Well, why not?
I don't believe in it.
Well, you own the property, don't you?
Yes, sir.
And you receive a yearly income from it
I do.
of between $3,000 and $4,000.
About that.
You've been receiving it for years.
I have. 1901, if you want the exact date.
The government is only concerned from 1914 on. That's when income tax started. Well, it seems, Mr. Vanderhoff, you owe the government 24 years back income tax.
Wait a minute, you can't go back that far, that's outlawed.
What's your name?
What is that?
Ever file an income tax return?
No, sir.
What was your income last year?
$28.50, wasn't it, Essie?
Yes, sir.
If you please. Now, Mr. Vanderhoff, you know there's quite a penalty for not paying an income tax.
Penalty.
Now, Mr. Henderson, let me ask you something.
Well,
Suppose I pay you this money. Mind you, I don't say I'm going to, but just for the sake of the argument, what's the government going to do with it?
well, how do you mean?
Well, what do I get for my money? You know, when I go into Macy's to buy something, there it is. I see it. What's the government give me?
Well, the government gives you everything. It protects you.
Oh, what front?
Well, from invasion, from foreigners that might come over here and take everything you've got.
No, I don't think they're going to do that.
They would if you didn't pay an income tax. How do you think the Army keeps up all the Navy and all those battleships?
Last time we used battleships was in the Spanish-American War. Now, what did we get out of it? Cuba. And we gave that back. I wouldn't mind paying if it was something sensible.
Sensible? Well, what about Congress and the Supreme Court and the President? We've got to pay them, don't we?
Not with my money, no, sir.
Now listen here, I'm not here to argue with you. All I know is that you haven't paid an income tax return. You've got to pay it.
They've got to show me.
We don't have to show you. I just told you. All those buildings down in Washington and interstate commerce and the Constitution.
The Constitution was paid for long ago. And as for interstate commerce, well, what is interstate commerce anyhow?
There are 48 states, see? And without interstate commerce, nothing could go from one state to another, see?
Why not? They got fences?
No, they haven't got fences. They've got laws. Good grief, I never came across anything like this before.
I might pay about $75, but that's all it's worth.
You'll pay every cent of it like everyone else.
Yes! Listen to this.
And let me tell you people something else. You'll go to jail if you don't pay. Do you hear me? That's the law. And if you think you're better than the law, then you've got another thing coming. You know better than anyone else. And the sooner you get that through your heads, the better. You'll be hearing from the United States government. That's all I can say.
Look out for the snake.
Gee!
How was that?
Just fine, Ed.
How'd that sound to you folks?
I like it.
My goodness, he was mad, wasn't he?
It's not his fault. It's just this whole thing is so silly.
He forgot his hat.
Say, what size is that hat?
7 1/8.
Just right for me.
Who was that fellow anyhow?
This must be Mr. Kirby. I'll make sure this time. How do you do? This is Mr. Anthony Kirby, Jr. Why, hello! We've been expecting you. This is really Mr. Kirby. I'm Mrs. Sycamore, Alice's mother, and this is Essie, Alice's sister, and Grandpa, and Mr. Sycamore, her father, and Ed Carmichael, Essie's husband. Now you know all of us. Now come right in and make yourself right at home.
Is that Mr. Kirby, Mother?
Yes, it is, darling. He's lovely.
I'll be right down.
I'm not keeping you from dinner.
No, not at all. Have a tomato?
No thanks.
How about a piece of candy?
No thank you.
I forgot to introduce you to Mr. DePino. This is Mr. DePino, Mr.
How you
Kirby.
doing? How you do?
Wasn't I reading about your father in the newspaper the other day? Didn't he get indicted or something?
No, hardly that. He just testified before the Securities Commission.
Oh.
Sure, it was nothing as serious as that, Mr. DePino. Anyhow, Alice is always telling us what a lovely man your father is.
Well, I know Father couldn't get along without Alice. She knows more about the business than any of us.
You're awful young, aren't you, to be vice president of a big place like that?
Oh, we know what that means, Vice President. All I have is a desk with my name on it.
Is that all? Don't you get any salary?
Well, a little. More than I'm worth, I'm afraid.
Oh, now you're just being modest.
It sounds kind of dull to me, Wall Street. Do you like it?
Well, the hours were short, and I haven't been there very long.
Just out of college, huh?
Well, I knocked around for a little while first, then I went to Cambridge for a year.
In England.
That's right.
Say, what's an English commencement like? Did you see any?
Very impressive.
They are, huh?
Anyhow, now the fun's over and I'm facing the world.
Well, you've certainly got a good start, Vice President, and a rich father.
Well, that's hardly my fault.
I suppose you're about ready to settle down and get married.
Come now, Vinny, I'm sure Mr. Kirby knows so fine.
No, I wasn't trying to make up his mind for him, was I, Mr.
Yeah,
Kirby?
that's quite all right.
You see? Well, I was just suggesting that he's bound to get married sometime, and suppose the wrong girl gets him.
Well, here I am, a vision in blue. Apparently you've had time to get acquainted.
Yes, we were just having a lovely little talk about love and marriage.
Oh dear, I'm so sorry I came down as fast as I
I
could.
didn't mind in the least.
Damn those flies in the kitchen. Oh, Miss Alice, you look beautiful. Where are you going?
I'm going out, Reba.
Stepping, huh? That must be Colin, huh?
We'd better be going, Tony.
All right.
Grandpa, you take cream or cornflakes? I forget.
That hasn't happened.
Ah, my little Evishka!
Colin, Paul.
Yes, that's calling Bob, all
Good
right.
evening, everybody. Grandpa, what do you think? I have a letter from Russia. The second 5-year plan is a failure.
I passed today, Mr. Colin,
My Pavlova!
Well, if you'll excuse us, Mr. Kolenkoff.
Miss Alice, never have I seen you look so magnificent.
Thank you. Tony, this is Mr. Kolenkoff as he's dancing teacher, Mr. Kirby.
How do you do?
How do you do?
Well, if you'll pardon us, Mr. Kolenkoff, we're off to the Monte Carlo Ballet.
The Monte Carlo Ballet? It stinks!
Yes. Well, goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye. Nice to
Right. The Monte Carlo Ballet!
Come on, everybody, dinner's ready.
I thought he was a nice fella, didn't you?
And so good looking.
He had such nice manners. Did you notice Paul? Did you notice his manners?
I certainly did. You were getting pretty personal with him.
Well, tell Paul. Anyhow, I think he's a very nice young man.
Looks like a cousin of mine.
Basque, Diaghilev! Then you had a
I
ballet.
think if they have the wedding here, I'll put the altar right where the snakes are. You wouldn't mind, would you, Grandpa?
Not at this stage, no.
No, no one have it in the church, his family is at home.
Of course,
Quiet,
of course.
everybody, quiet. Well, sir, here we are. We've been getting along pretty well for quite some time now, and we're certainly very much obliged. Remember, all we ask is to just go along and be happy in our own sort of way. We want to keep our health and all, but as far as anything else is concerned, we'll leave it to you. Thank you. So the second 5-year plan is a failure, are you calling off?
Catastrophic! And
Alice,
wait
very
till the time, the
nervy.
third 5-year
I can play the wedding march on the xylophone.
What are you
I'm hungry.
Every night. I think they're marvelous.
They are, aren't they? Just walking inside any theater you can get through.
Well, it's been so lovely, Tony. I hate to have it over.
Oh, is it over? Do I have to go right away?
Not if you don't want to.
I don't.
Would you like a cold drink?
Wonderful.
I'll see what's in the icebox. Want to come along?
I follow you to the ends of the earth.
Just the kitchen is enough.
I like it. You've done it very simply, haven't you?
Yes, we didn't know whether to do it Empire or Neo-Grecian.
Where'd you dare?
Yes, it's so easy to live with. Lucky you're not hungry, Mr. K. An icebox full of cornflakes. That gives gives you a rough idea of the Sycamores.
Why they made these things for singer midgets? I'll never go home. All over my coat.
I'll take mine in the class if you don't mind.
There you are, a foaming beaker.
Anyhow, it's cold.
If you'll be seated, I'd like to offer a toast.
We are seated.
Miss Sycamore, to you.
Thank you, Mr. Kirby. To you.
You know something?
What?
I wouldn't trade 1 minute of this evening for all the rice in China.
Really?
Cross my heart.
Is there much rice in China?
Terrific. Haven't you ever good Earth? Well, I guess I better be going.
Is it very late?
Very. But I don't want to go.
I don't want you to.
Well, then I won't. When do you get your vacation?
Last 2 weeks in August.
I take mine in too.
Really?
What do you think you'll be doing?
I don't know. I haven't thought much about it.
Going away, do you think?
I might not. I like the city in the summertime.
Me too.
But you always go up to Maine during the summer, don't you?
That's right. But I'm sure I like the city in the summertime if... You know what I mean, Alice. I'd like it if you were here.
Well, it'd be nice if you were here, Tony.
You know what you're saying, don't you?
What?
That you'd rather spend the summer with me than with anyone else.
Was I?
Well, if it's true what you say about the summer, then what would you say about the winter?
Yes, I like that too.
And then there's spring and autumn, if you could see your way clear about those, Miss Ford.
I might.
I think that's everything. We haven't left out anything, have we?
No.
Well then.
Alice, dear, is that you? What time is it? Oh, Mr. Kirby, I had no idea that well, that is well, I didn't mean to interrupt anything.
Not at all, Mrs. Sycamore.
No, Mother.
Well, I just came down to get a manuscript, and you can go right ahead. Sex takes all day. Well, good night, Tony.
Good night, Mrs. Sycamore.
You can call me Penny, don't you, Alice? At least I hope so.
What was that?
That's just Father, Tony.
At this time of night?
Any time of night. Any time of day.
You know, you're more lovely and more adorable, more beautiful than anyone else in the whole world.
Don't, Tony.
Darling. Just because your mother... All mothers are like that, Alice. Penny's a darling. You see, I'm even calling her Penny.
I don't mean that, Tony. Look, this is something I should have said long ago, but I didn't have the courage. I let myself be swept away because I loved you so.
Darling.
No, wait, Tony, I want to make it clear to you. Listen, you're a whole different world, a whole different kind of people. I don't mean money or socially, that's too silly, but Tony, your family and mine just wouldn't work, Tony, it just wouldn't work.
All right, have it your way then. She can't dance. That's why they pay her all that money, because she can't dance.
Well, I don't call that dancing. What she does. Oh, hello, how was the ballet?
It was fine, I think.
Hello there.
Hello.
Look, what do you people think? Ed and I just saw Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers. Do you think she can dance, Mr. Kirby?
Well, I've always thought so.
What does she do anyhow? Now look, Mr. Kirby. You're Fred Astaire, and I'm Ginger Rogers.
Essie, please.
Don't worry, Alice. It'll only take a moment. Now you see, Mr. Kirby.
Essie, you're just as good as Ginger Rogers, we all
You
agree.
see, Ed.
Yeah, come on, Essie. We're butting in here.
Oh, they've been together all evening. Good night, Mr. Kirby. Good night, Alice.
Good night, Mr. Michael.
Good night. Essie, did you ever ask Grandpa about us having a baby?
Oh, yes. He said go right ahead.
You see, that's what it would be like.
Darling, I didn't mind that. Anyhow, we're not going to be living with them. It'll just be you and I.
No, it won't, Tony. It's never quite that. I love you, Tony, but I love them too. Some people could break away, but I couldn't. I know they do rather strange things, but they're gay and they're fun, and I don't know, there's a kind of nobility about them.
Alice, you told us only you could understand them. That's not true. All families have curious little traits. My father raised orcs at $10,000 a bulb. Is that sensible? And my mother believes in spiritualism. That's just as bad as your mother writing plays, isn't it?
It goes deeper, Tony. Your mother believes in spiritualism because it's fashionable, and your father raises orchids because he can afford to. My mother writes plays because 8 years ago a typewriter was delivered here by mistake. and look at Grandpa. 35 years ago, he just quit business one day. He started up to his office in an elevator and came right back down again. He just stopped. He could have been a rich man, but he said it took too much time. So now for 35 years, he's just been collecting snakes and going to circuses and commencements, and it never occurs to any of them.
Hello there, children.
Good evening, Mr. Vanderhoff.
Hi, Grandpa.
How's the weather? Looks like a nice summer evening.
Yes, it's lovely, Grandpa.
Well, I'm off. Goodbye, Mr. Kirby. Got a date with the policeman on the corner.
Policeman?
Standing date 12:30 every evening. Known him since he was a little boy. Yeah, he's really a doctor, but after he graduated, he came to me and told me he didn't want to be a doctor. Said he had always wanted to be a policeman. So I told him, you go ahead and be a policeman. If that's what you want to be. And that is what he did. Say, how do you like my new hat?
It's very nice, Mr. Vanderhoff.
Yeah, I like it. The government gave it to me.
Oh, excuse me, I didn't know you folks was in here.
It's all right, Donald.
Reba kind of fancied some candy, huh? There it is. You all want to?
No, Donald.
Thanks. Did you have a nice evening?
Yes, Donald.
Nice dinner?
Yes, Donald.
Was the ballet nice?
Yes, Donald.
That's nice.
Now do you see what I mean? Could you explain Donald to your father? Could you explain Grandpa? You couldn't, Tony, you couldn't. I love you, Tony, but I love them too. It's no use, Tony, it's no use.
Alice, you only said one thing that matters. It makes any sense at all. You love me.
But Tony, I know so well.
Don't you think other people have the same problems? Everyone's got a family.
Not like mine.
It doesn't stop people who love each other. Darling, won't you just trust me? Go on loving me and forget everything else?
Tony, how can I?
Because nothing can keep us apart. You know that. You must know that. They want you to be happy, don't they? They must.
Of course they do, Tony, but they can't change. I wouldn't want them to change.
They won't have to change. They're trying lovable people just as they are. You're worrying about something that may never come up.
Oh, Tony, am I?
Look, Alice, all that matters right now is that we love each other. That's so, isn't it?
Yes.
Well then. Now I'd like to see a little gaiety around here. Young gentlemen calling and getting engaged and everything.
Tony, what do I say?
First you thank the young man for getting engaged to you.
Thank you, Mr. Kirby, for getting engaged to me.
And then you tell him what it was about him that first took your girlish heart.
Back of your head.
Huh?
Yep, it wasn't your money and it wasn't your charm. It was the back of your head. I just liked it.
What happened when I turned around?
I got used to it after a while.
I was thinking they were pretty lucky, aren't we?
I know I am. I'm the luckiest girl in the world.
Not exactly unlucky myself. It's a good thing we work in the same office, otherwise I'd be hanging around here all day.
Won't it be funny when we see each other in the office tomorrow and just go on as though nothing had happened?
Well, it's a good thing I'm vice president. I can dictate to you all day. Dear Miss Sycamore, I love you. I love you. I love you.
Such a fool.
Why don't you meet at the drugstore in the morning before we go to the office? I'll have millions of things to say to you.
All right.
And then lunch and then dinner tomorrow night.
Tony, what will people say?
It's got to come out sometime. In fact, if you have a good rooftop, I'd like to do a little shouting.
Yes, sir, Mr. Rapina. We did a good night's work.
That's what 500 Black Panthers, 300 Weeping Willows, and 8 dozen Junior Kitty Bombers.
Pretty good. Why, hello, Alice. Just come in.
No, I've been home quite a while.
Have a nice evening.
I had a beautiful evening, Father.
Say, I'd like you to take a look at this new red fire. Before we turn off the lights, Mr. DePina, I want Alice to get the full effect.
What, Father?
Take a look at this new red fire. It's beautiful. There. What do you think? Isn't it beautiful?
Yes, it's beautiful, Father. It's the most beautiful red fire in the world.
Right, I said to him, you can take your old job.
Well, I'm ready to read the new play anytime you are, Miss Wellington.
Just a minute, dearie. Just a minute.
I hope you don't mind my mentioning this, but you don't drink when you're acting, do you? I'm just asking, of course.
I'm glad you brought it up. Once a play opens, I never touch a drop. The minute I enter the stage door, the bottle gets put away until intermission.
Have you been on the stage a long time, Miss Wellington?
All my life! Ever seen Peg Oh My Heart?
Yes.
I saw it too. Good show. My hot night, ain't it?
You want me to open the window, Miss Wellington?
No, the hell with the weather. Say, he's cute.
She's after me, but that's all. She don't need anything.
I need to go upstairs when you're ready, Miss Wellington. I thought we'd read the play up in my room.
All right, dearie, I'm ready. When I see snakes, it's time to lay down.
Oh dear, but those are real, Miss Wellington. Those snakes are Grandpa's. I hope she's not going to. Miss Wellington?
She's out like a light.
Better let her sleep it off.
Real Miss Wellington is passed out.
You think she'll be all right, Grandpa?
Yes, but I wouldn't cast her in that religious play.
I guess I'll just have to wait.
You know, Penny, the next time you meet an actress on the top of a bus, I think I'd send her the play instead of bringing her home to read it.
And I wish you'd stop quitting and take those love dreams around. You've got to get back in time to play for me when Colin comes.
Kolenkov coming tonight?
Yes, tomorrow night's the night, but I had to change it on account of Alice.
Big doings around here tomorrow night, huh?
Isn't it exciting? You know, I'm so nervous. It's as if I was engaged.
I wonder what they'll be like, his mother and father. And what are you doing now? Ah!
Hey, look at the new mask I made last night. Guess who it is?
Now give me a minute, Ed. Don't tell me. Helen of Troy?
It's Mrs. Roosevelt.
You know the nice thing about these mechanical sets is you can make so many different things with them. Last week, it was the Empire State Building.
What is it this week?
Queen Mary.
Hasn't got the right hat on.
Mr. Payne, would you look outside and see if there's a man standing in front of the house?
Why, what for?
Well, the last few times I've been out delivering candy, there's been a man following me.
Ed, you're crazy.
No, I'm not. He stands and he follows me and he watches the house.
Really? I'll take a look and see.
I don't see what anybody would follow you for, Ed.
There's a lot of kidnapping going on now, Grandpa.
Well, yes, but not of Ed.
Well, did you see him?
There's nobody out there at all.
You sure?
Positive, I just saw him walk away.
You see?
Ed, that could have been anyone walking along the street. Now hurry up and get back.
Oh,
Mrs. Sycamore, want to go down now and finish packing up those fireworks?
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff to take up to Mount Vernon in the morning.
Mother, may I borrow some paper? I'm making out a list for Reba tomorrow night, Miss. Dear, Here's some. Oh dear. Is your actress friend giving a performance?
No, Alice. She's not acting. She's really drunk.
Essie, you're going to give Reba the kitchen all day tomorrow, aren't you? Because she'll need it.
Of course, Alice. I'll go start on some love dreams now so I'll be bad.
Thanks, dear. Listen, Mother, I'm coming home at 3 o'clock tomorrow. Will you have everything down in the cellar by then? the typewriter and the printing press and the xylophone.
And Miss Wellington.
And Miss Wellington. That'll give me time to fix the table and arrange the flowers.
You know, the Kirbys are certainly going to get the wrong idea of this house.
You'll do all that, won't you, Mother?
Of course, dear.
And I think I ought to have cocktails ready by 7:15 in case they happen to come a little early. I wonder if I'll let Reba come to dinner. What do you think, Grandpa?
Now, Alice, I wouldn't worry. From what I've seen of the boy, I'm sure the Kirbys are very nice people. If everything isn't too elaborate tomorrow night, it's all right, too.
Grandpa, I'm not trying to impress them or pretend we're anything that we aren't. I just want everything to go off well.
No reason why it shouldn't, Alice.
We're all going to do everything we can to make it a nice party.
My darlings, I love you. You're the most wonderful family in the world, and I'm the happiest girl in the world. I didn't know anybody could be so happy. Why, this past week has just been like floating. Just seeing him, you don't know what it does to me, Grandpa.
Just seeing him. Just seeing him for lunch and for dinner and until 4 o'clock the next morning. And at 9 o'clock the next morning, you go into the office, and there he is. Just seeing him, huh?
I don't care. I'm in love. Reba! Reba?
Nice, isn't it? Nice to see her so happy.
I was thinking about when I was engaged to Paul, how happy I was. You know what? I still feel that way.
No. That's the way Ed and Essie get along, too, isn't it?
Do you suppose Mr. DePino will ever marry anyone, Grandpa?
Well, there's Miss Wellington.
I do wish she'd wake up. If we're going to read the play tonight.
Miss Sycamore, look what I found. Remember?
Why, Mr. DePina, it's my painting of you as the discus thrower. Look, Grandpa.
Yes, I remember. Say, you've gotten a little bit bald, haven't you, Mr. DePino?
Is it very noticeable? Well, I've still got some right here.
It's been a long time. Just before I stopped painting, let's see. That's 8 years.
I wish you'd finish it, Miss Sycamore.
You know, Mr. DePina, I always meant to, but I started to write a play one day, and that was that. I never painted again.
Just as well, too. I was going to have to strip next.
My goodness, who would have thought the day that I came to deliver ice that I was going to stay here for 8 years?
The milkman was here for 5, just ahead of you.
Say, why did you leave anyhow? I forget.
He didn't leave. He died.
He was at a funeral, Grandpa. You never knew his name, and it was sort of hard to get a certificate.
What was the name we finally made up for him?
Martin Vanderhoff. We gave him your name.
Oh,
Maybe it was a lovely thought. Otherwise, he would have never got all those flowers.
It certainly was. And it didn't hurt me any. Not bothered with mail anymore, and I haven't had a phone call from that day to this.
It really was a wonderful idea.
I wish you'd finish it sometime, Miss Sycamore. I'd really like to have it.
So what, Mr. DePina? I think I'll do some work on it right tonight.
Say, will you?
I don't think she's going to wake up anyhow. Go down to the cellar and put on your costume and bring up the easels. It's still down there.
I think so.
Now, where are my palette and brushes?
Rybishka, my little Rybishka!
Hello, Mr. Kolikoff. S is in the kitchen.
Madam Sycamore, I greet you. Tell me, Grandpa, what should I do about Rybishka? I keep telling her she would make a great toe dancer, but she laughs only.
No, sir, I couldn't get up on my toes, Mr. Kolikoff. I got corns.
You could wear diamonds, Rybishka. A great girl. What is that?
It's a picture of Mr. DePina. Penny painted it.
It stinks.
Well, how do you like that?
What is that?
She's an actress, a friend of Penny's.
She is drunk, no?
She is drunk, yes. Now, how are you, Mr. Kolikoff?
Magnificent. Life is chasing around inside me like squirrels.
It is. Say, what's new in Russia? Have you heard from your friend in Moscow?
I have just heard from him. I saved for you this stamp.
Thank you.
They have sent him to Siberia.
How's he like it there?
He has escaped. He has escaped and gone back to Moscow. He will get them yet if they do not get him. The Soviet government. I could take the whole Soviet government and...
I'll look at my disc right away.
Tonight we really work, my Pavlova. Tonight we will make something new.
Is he making any progress, Kolikoff?
Confidentially, she stinks.
As long as she's having fun.
You sure took her in, Mr. Kolikoff. She's laughed her head off out there.
She is a great woman. Donald, what do you think of the Soviet government?
The what, Mr. Kolkov?
Answer all the questions. What do you think of this government?
Oh, I like it fine. I'm on relief, you know.
Oh, yes, and you like it?
Yes, it's fine. Only thing is you gotta go down that place every week to get it. Sometimes you gotta stand in that line here half an hour. Government ought to be run better than that, don't you think, Grandpa?
Government ought to stop sending me letters. They want me to go down to the U.S. Marshal's office at 9 o'clock every Tuesday. Look at that.
Ah, income tax. They have got you now, Grandpa.
I'm supposed to pay him a lot of money so as to keep Donald here on relief.
You don't say, Grandpa. You gonna pay it from now on?
That's what they want.
So you mean I can come here and get it instead of stand in line?
No, Donald. I'm afraid you'll have to waste a full half hour of your time every week.
Well, I don't like it. It breaks up my week.
He should have been in Russia when the revolution came. Then he would have stood in a line, a bread line. Ah, Grandpa, what they have done to Russia. Think of it. The Grand Duchess Olga Katrina, cousin of the Tsar. She is waitress in Child's restaurant. I ordered baked beans for her only yesterday. A crazy world, Grandpa.
The world's not so crazy. It's the people living in it. Life is pretty simple if you just relax.
But how can you relax in times like these?
If people would relax, there wouldn't be times like these. That's just my point. The trouble is, people forget that. I know I did. I was right in the thick of it. Fighting and scratching and clawing, or regular juggling. And then one day, it just kind of struck me. I wasn't having any fun.
Ah, so you did what?
Just relaxed. 35 years ago that was, and I've been a happy man ever since.
Good evening, Mr. Kollenkoff.
Miss Alice, I have not seen you to present my congratulations.
Thank you.
May you be very happy and have many children. That is my prayer for you.
That's quite a thought.
Love. Love is all that is left in the world, Grandpa.
Yes, but there is plenty of that.
And soon Stalin will take that away too.
Feels so nice to get to my painting things again. Do they still look all right, Grandpa?
Yes, indeed.
You are a breath of Paris, Madam Sycamore.
Thank you, Mr. Goldenbaum.
I didn't know you was working for the WPN.
I used to...
It happened again! There was a fella following me everywhere I went!
And it's just your imagination.
No, it isn't! It happens every time I go out to deliver candy!
Maybe he wants a piece of candy.
Oh, it's all right for you to laugh, Grandpa, but he keeps following.
You do not know what following is. In Russia, everybody is followed. I am followed right out of Russia.
Yes, it's just your imagination.
Well,
Right here, Mr. Dupina.
and for tonight's lesson, we will use the first movement of Scheherazade.
Mr. Dupina, has your figure changed in these 8 years?
I don't think it's any different.
Yes, Miss Wellington? Yes?
Woo!
Oh, dear.
I'm sorry I'm late, Mr. Kollenkoff. I couldn't find my slippers.
We have a hot night for it, my Pamela. But tonight, but art is only achieved through perspiration.
Why are you so cold? Did you hear that, Grandpa? Art is only achieved through perspiration.
Yes, but it helps if you've got a little talent to go with. I only made 2 bullseyes last night. I gotta do better than that.
You are ready? We begin. Now, pirouette. Pirouette. Come, you can do that. It's 8 years now. At last. Entre-chop. No, Grandpa, you cannot relax with Stalin in Russia. The Tsar relaxed, and look what happened to him.
He was too late.
Hey,
Mr. Kollenkoff.
if the Tsar had not relaxed, the Grand Duchess Olga Katrina would not be selling baked beans. I'm sorry, we get back to the pirouette.
Mr. Dupina, could you pull your stomach and look? That's it.
A little freer with the hands. The whole body must work. And help us with the music. The music must.
glad to see you.
We thought this to be tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night?
What? No, now it's perfectly all right. Just make yourselves at home. Tony, how could you possibly? Sorry.
Really, Toby, this is most embarrassing.
Why, we weren't doing a thing.
Just a quiet evening at home.
That's all. Now, don't let it bother you. That's Mrs. Sycamore, Alice's mother. And that is Mrs. Carmichael, Alice's sister. Mr. Carmichael. Mr. Collingcoff. And Mr. DePina.
Don't mind my costume. I'll take it right off.
Whoa, Mr. Please run down and tell Mr. Sycamore to come right up. Tell him that Mr. and Mrs. Kirby are here, yes.
And remember to put his pants on. I'll tell Alice that you're... Alice, dear!
What is it?
We've got a surprise for you! Well...
May I take your wrap, Mrs. Kirby?
Well, thank you. If you're perfectly sure that we're not...
Don't be alarmed, Mrs. Kirby. They are perfectly harmless. And take them into the kitchen.
Oh, we're just so used to having them around the house.
I'm sorry to bother you, but snakes happen to be my
I feel very uncomfortable about this. Tony, how many dungeons with them?
Sorry, Father. I thought it was time.
It was very careless of you. Very.
Oh, Mr. Kirby, everyone gets mixed up now and then.
Penny, how about some dinner for these folks? They come to dinner, you know.
Oh, please don't bother. We're really not that hungry at all.
It's not a bit of bother. And, oh! Ed, tell Donald to go down to the A&P and get half a dozen bottles of beer. And some canned salmon. Do you like canned salmon, Mr. Kirby?
Please don't trouble Mrs. Sycamore. I have a little indigestion anyway.
Oh, I'm sorry. How about you, Mrs. Kirby? Do you like canned salmon?
I'm very fond of it.
Well, we could have frankfurters if you'd rather.
Either will do.
We'll make it frankfurters. And canned corn. And Campbell's soup! And tell him to hurry! Well, the A&P is just around the corner, and frankfurters don't take any time to boil.
And this is Mr. Sycamore. Mr. and Mrs. Kirby.
How do you do?
I hope you'll forgive my appearance.
This is Mr. Sycamore's busiest time of the year. Just before the 4th of July, he's always...
Darling, I'm the most ordered person in the world. I thought it was tonight.
Tony. Why, Tony. I'm so sorry. I can't imagine. Have you all met each other?
Yes, indeed.
How do you do, Alice? How do you do, Mrs. Kirby? I'm afraid I'm not very presentable.
Charlie, you look lovely.
Of course she does. Don't let this upset you, my dear. We've all just met each other a night sooner, that's all.
But I was planning such a nice party tomorrow night.
Well, we'll come again tomorrow night.
Here you are, Alice. Am I forgiven?
I guess so. We'd better see about getting you some dinner.
Well, that's all been taken care of, Alice.
Oh, fiddlesticks!
Get up, man.
That's all been attended to.
But, Mother, what did you send out for? Because Mr. Kirby has indigestion and he can only eat certain things.
Oh, it's all right. It's all right.
Of course it is, Alice.
The last is what's wanted, Alice.
Yes, but
No, it's not as serious as all that, just because I have a little indigestion.
Perhaps it is not indigestion at all. Perhaps you have stomach ulcer.
don't be absurd, Mr. Kollenhoff.
You mustn't mind Mr. Kornikov, Mr. Kirby. He's a Russian, and Russians are inclined to look on the dark side.
All right, I am Russian, but a friend of mine, a Russian, died from stomach ulcer.
Really?
Mr. Kirby has indigestion, and that's all.
All right, let him vent.
Please, Mr. Kirby, make yourself at home.
Thank you.
Well,
So Kirby, how do you find business conditions? Are we pretty well out of the Depression?
What? Yes, I think so. Of course, it all depends.
But you do figure things are going to continue improving?
Broadly speaking, yes. As a matter of fact, industry is now operating at 64% of full capacity, as against 82% in 1925. Of course, in 1929, yeah.
There was a young lady from the village that reminded me of feeling. Something, and she went to bed and bumped her head and couldn't get up in the morning. There was a young lady.
That might seem a little strange to you folks, but she's not entirely accountable for her actions. She's a friend of Penny's. She came to dinner and was overtaken by the heat.
Oh, yes, some people feel that you know more than others. Perhaps I should go and make sure she's all right. Would you excuse me, please?
It is awfully hot. But you usually escape all this hot weather, don't you, Mrs. Kirby? Up in Maine?
As a rule. I had to come down this week, however, for the flower show.
Mother wouldn't miss that for the world. The Blue Ribbon's the highest spot every year.
I went for the blue ribbon in a flower show once for raising onions. Remember, Alice?
That was a garden show.
Oh, yes.
Well, I think she'll be all right now. Has Alice come back yet?
No, he hasn't.
He'll come back soon, and dinner won't take any time at all. I'm afraid you must be starved.
No, quite all right. Oh, hello, what's this? I didn't know there were little children in the house.
Oh no, that's mine.
Well, I suppose every man has his hobby. Or do you use this as a model of some kind?
Oh no, I just play with this.
I see.
Maybe you'd be better off if you had a hobby like that, Father, instead of raising orchids.
Yes, I wouldn't be surprised.
Do tell us about your orchids, Mr. Kirby. You know they take 6 years before they blossom, don't they? Think of that.
Oh, some of them take longer than that. I've got one coming along now that I've waited 10 years for.
Believe it or not, I was waiting for an orchid.
Yes. I remember both of those very fond of. Just
Donald!
Here we are, Donald. You get everything.
Yes, well, they didn't have Frankfurt, so I got pickle pictures.
Never mind, Donald! Right in the kitchen. Please continue telling them about the orchids, Mr. Kirby. I know that they'd love to hear it. Excuse me.
Kind of an expensive hobby, isn't it, Mr. Kirby? Raising orchids?
Yes, it is, but I feel that if a hobby gives one sufficient pleasure, it's never expensive.
That's very true.
You see, I need something to relieve the daily nerve strain. After a week in Wall Street, I'd go crazy if I didn't have something like that. A lot of men I know have yachts just for that very reason.
Why don't they just give up Wall Street?
How's that?
I was just joking.
I think it's necessary for everyone to have a hobby. Of course, to me, it's more than just a hobby, but my great solace is spiritualism.
Spiritualism? Well, Mrs. Kirby, everybody knows that's a fake.
To me, Mrs. Sycamore, spiritualism is... Well, I would rather not discuss it, Mrs. Sycamore.
Remember, Benny, you have 1 or 2 hobbies of your own.
Yes, but not silly ones.
I don't think it matters what the hobby is. The important thing is to have one.
The ideal, a hobby should improve the mind as well as the body. The Romans were great people. Why? What was their hobby? Wrestling. In wrestling, you have to think quick with the mind, but act quick with the body.
Yes, but I'm afraid wrestling is not very practical for most of us. I wouldn't make a very good showing as a wrestler.
You could be a great wrestler. You are built for it. Look.
Get it! Call the cops!
Mr. Kirby, are you hurt?
Father, are you all right?
Where are my glasses?
You better come sit down, Father.
Oh, Mr. Kirby, they're broken.
Oh, I am sorry. But next time you wrestle, Mr. Kirby, you will, of course, not wear glasses.
I do not intend to wrestle again, Mr. Kolenkoff.
How could you do such a thing, Mr. Kolenkoff? Why didn't anybody stop him? I think
Mother.
Please, Mrs. Kirby, please don't go. Mr. Kirby, I ordered some scrambled eggs and plain salad. Please don't go.
I'm sorry if I did something wrong, and I apologize.
I'm really sorry, Mr. Kirby. If I'd been here.
That's quite all right.
Of course it is, Alice. We're not going.
Well, that was exciting for a minute, wasn't it?
Talking about your orchids, Mr. Kirby, do you raise many different varieties?
I'm afraid I've quite forgotten about my orchids.
I'm awfully sorry, Mr. Kirby.
What did I do that was so terrible? I threw him to the floor. He didn't kill him.
Well, I'm sure dinner won't be any time at all now.
Would you like some candy while you're waiting, Mr. Kirby? They're freshly made.
My doctor does not permit me to eat candy, thank you.
Oh, but these are nothing, just marshmallow and hot fudge and coconut.
Don't, Essie.
Miss Alice, Miss Alice.
What is it, Reba?
The eggs that fell down the sink.
Make some more, quick.
We ain't got any.
Tell Donald to go out for some.
All right.
Tell him to hurry. I'm sorry, but there's been a little delay. Everything will be ready in just a minute.
I've certainly put you people through a lot of trouble with my stupidity.
Not at all, Tony.
Well, why don't we play some sort of game while we're
That'd be
waiting?
fine.
Mother, I'm sure Mr. and Mrs. Kirby.
I have an idea. I know a wonderful trick with a glass of water.
Now, Mr. Cullenbaugh.
No, Mr.
Well,
Golligob.
I'm sure Mr. and Mrs. Kirby will love this game. It's perfectly harmless.
Please, Mother.
I'm not very good at games, Mrs. Sycamore.
Now, Mr. Kirby, any fool can play this game. All you do is write your name on a piece of paper.
But Mother.
Oh, he'll love it. You will write your name on this piece of paper, Mr. Kirby. And you do the same on this one, Mrs. Kirby. You are Grandpa. This is a little game I used to play in school. It's called Forget-Me-Not. Now, I'm going to call out 5 words, just anything at all, and you're to write down the first thing that comes into your mind. For instance, if I say grass, you might put down green. Just the first thing that comes up, you see? Or if I said chair, you might put down table. It shows people's reactions to different things. You see how simple it is, Mr. Kirby.
Come on, Father, be a sport.
Very well, I shall be happy to play.
You see, Alice, he does want to play. Now, everyone ready?
Ready?
Now, remember, not lying there, and you put down the first thing that comes into your mind.
I understand.
Okay. Everyone ready for the first word? The first word is potatoes. Potatoes. Ready for the next one? Bathroom.
Mother.
Bathroom. All right. The next word is lust.
Mother, this is not exactly.
That word's all right, Alice.
Mother, it's not all right.
I don't know. I think it's a perfectly fair word.
You see, Alice? Now, you mustn't interrupt the game.
May I have that last word again, please?
Lust, Mr. Kirby.
I've got it.
This is quite a game, isn't it?
Now, next word is honeymoon. Now, Essie. And the last word is sex. Everybody got sex? All right, now, everyone give me your papers. Could I have your paper, Mr. Kirby? Thank you.
What happens now?
Oh, this is the best part. I read everyone's answers out loud.
I see, it's really quite interesting.
Oh, yes, it is. I knew you'd love it, Mr. Kirby. I'm going to read your answers first. Here we are. Everybody listening? This is Mr. Kirby. I'm going to read Mr. Kirby's paper first. Potatoes. Steak
a game, you know. It's sort of an experiment in psychology.
Yes, it is. It shows just how your mind works. Now let's see how Mrs. Kirby's mind works. Everyone listen. This is Mrs. Kirby. Potatoes. Starch. Oh, I know just what you mean, Mrs. Kirby. Oh, dear. Bathroom. Mr. Kirby.
What's that?
Bathroom, Mr. Kirby.
I don't quite follow that, my dear.
Follow you in connection with it. After all, you are in there a good deal, indeed. Bathing and shaving, well, you do take a long time.
Indeed, I hadn't realized I was being selfish in the matter. Go on, Mrs. Sycamore.
I think it's a very silly game and we ought to stop it.
Yes.
No, please go on, Mrs. Sycamore.
Where was I? Lust. Human.
Human. Really, Miriam?
What I meant, Anthony, is that lust is, after all, a human emotion.
I do not agree with you, Miriam. Lust is not a human emotion. It is depraved.
Very well, Anthony, I'm wrong.
Really, it's the most pointless game. Suppose we play 20 questions.
Yes.
No, I find this game rather interesting. Go on, Mrs. Sycamore. The next word.
Honeymoon.
Ah, yes. And what was Mrs. Kirby's answer?
Dull.
Did you say dull?
What I meant, Anthony, is that Hot Springs was not very fun that season. All those old people sitting on the porch all afternoon and nothing to do at night.
That was not your answer at the time, as I recall it.
Oh, there's so many games.
A very illuminating game. Go on, Mrs. Sycamore.
Oh no, Mr. Kirby, this one's all right. 6 Wall Street.
Wall Street. What did you mean by that, Miriam?
I don't know what I meant, Anthony. Nothing.
But you must have meant something, or you wouldn't have put it down.
It was just the first thing that came to my head, that's all.
What does it mean? Sex, Wall Street.
I don't know what it means, Anthony. It's just that you're always talking about Wall Street, even when... I don't know what it means. Would you mind terribly, Alice, if we didn't stay for dinner? I'm afraid this game is giving me a headache.
I understand, Mrs. Kirby.
Yes, perhaps we better postpone the dinner if you don't mind.
Oh, but you're coming again tomorrow night.
I'm afraid we have an engagement tomorrow night.
Perhaps we better postpone the whole affair a little while. The hot weather.
Father, I think you're being very ungracious. Of course we'll stay to dinner.
I have a very bad headache, Tony.
Come, Tony. I'm sure everyone understands.
No, I don't. I think we ought to stay.
No, Tony, we were fools ever to think it would work. It won't. Mr. Kirby, I won't be at the office tomorrow. I won't be there at all anymore.
Alice, dear, what are you talking about?
I'm sorry, my dear. I'm very sorry.
Tony, you mustn't mind this.
Oh, it's been very nice to have met you all.
Yes.
Are you coming, Tony?
No, Father, I'm not.
I see. Your mother and I will be waiting for you at home. Good night.
Good night.
Stay right where you are, everybody. Don't move.
Oh, what happened?
Taylor, what does this mean? What is all? I demand an explanation.
Shut up. Which one is it?
This is him.
What do you mean? What is it?
Grandpa, what is
This is an outrage.
Shut up. What's your name?
Edward Carmichael. I haven't done anything.
You had it, Tom.
This seems rather high-handed to me, officer. What's this all about?
Department of Justice.
Oh my goodness, J-Men!
I haven't done anything.
What has the boy done, officer?
What is this? What's this all about?
Federal lead to the cellar?
Yes, it does.
Yes, Matt. Jim? Yes, sir. Take a look upstairs and see what you can find.
But I haven't
Shut
done
up! Come here, you. You ever seen these before?
They're my circulars.
You print this stuff, huh?
Yes, sir.
And you put it in the boxes of candy to get into people's houses?
The laundry!
But I didn't mean anything.
Thin, huh? Dynamite the Capitol. Dynamite the White House. Dynamite the Supreme Court. God is the state is God.
But I didn't mean that. I just like to print, don't I, Grandpa?
Officer, the government's in no trouble from Ed. Printing is just his hobby. He prints anything.
He does, eh?
Yes, this is all just nonsense.
I refuse to stand here and be broken with
Will you let me get my
Shut
point?
up, you! We were right, Chief. They've got enough gunpowder down there to blow up the whole city.
Oh, you'll leave Shut up! Everyone in this house is under arrest.
What's that?
Officer, this is
You
all
better let me
nonsense.
Shut up, all of you!
It seems to me also.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up, will you? Who's
that? She's murdered.
The fireworks!
In the West Side Court this morning. After spending the night in jail, the defendants, 13 in all, were brought before Judge Callahan and given suspended sentences for manufacturing fireworks without a permit.
Yeah, it kept me in the same cell with the stripteaser from a burlesque show.
I was in the same cell as Mr. Kirby. He was mad.
Miss Kirby and the stripteaser, they were fighting all night.
A whole lot about Mr. Kirby here. Anthony W. Kirby, head of Kirby and Company, 62 Wall Street, who was among those apprehended, declared he was in no way interested in the manufacturing of fireworks, but refused to state why he was on the premises at the time of the raid. Mr. Kirby is a member of the Union Club, the Racket Club, the Harvard Club, and the National Geographic Society. He certainly is a joiner.
Yeah, all the rich wear Elks or something.
Suppose after all this, Mr. Tony ain't never gonna marry Miss Alice, huh?
No, sir, and it's a shame too. Miss Alice sure was that boy.
Ever noticed how rich folks always be getting into trouble?
Yeah, I'm glad I'm poor.
Me too.
I don't know what I'm gonna do with all that food out in the kitchen. Ain't gonna be no party tonight, that's sure.
Ain't we gonna eat anyhow?
Well, I'm cooking it, but I don't think anybody's gonna have an appetite.
I'm hungry.
Well, baby, they're all so broke up about Miss Alice.
What's she want to go wait for? Where's she going?
I don't know. Mountain someplace, and she's going all right. I know Miss Alice, and when she gets that look in her eye,
Too bad, ain't it?
sure is.
Not even a balloon left. See?
How's your hand, Miss Christina? Better?
No, it's better. Is there more olive oil in the kitchen?
It's in the salad bowl.
Thanks.
Well, she's going. Nothing anybody said could change her.
She ain't gonna stay away long, is she, Miss Sycamore?
Nobody, but she won't say.
They'd be mighty lonesome around here without it.
How do you feel, Miss Seymour?
I'm all right, Donald. Just a little upset. Perhaps if I do some work, maybe that'll get my mind off of things.
Well, I won't bother you then, Miss Seymour.
She's going, Penny.
Yes.
Now, Penny,
Oh, Paul. Somehow I feel it's our fault.
It's mine more than yours. This whole time I've just been going along enjoying myself, and maybe I should have been thinking more about Alice.
Don't say that, Paul. You've been a wonderful father and husband, too.
No, I haven't. Maybe if I'd gone ahead and been an architect, I'd almost something Alice could have been proud of. Felt that all last night looking at Mr. Kirby.
You've been so happy, Paul.
I know, but maybe that's not enough. I used to think it was, but a little mixed up there.
What time is she going?
Pretty soon, training at 7:30.
Oh, if only she'd see Tony, maybe he could persuade
She
her.
won't, Penny. She's been trying all day.
Where is he now?
I don't know. I suppose walking around the block again. Anyhow, it won't help.
Maybe he can catch her as she's leaving.
It won't help him.
No, I suppose not. I feel sorry for Tony, too. Well, Grandpa?
Penny, let the girl alone.
But Grandpa.
Now, suppose she goes to the Adirondacks. She'll be back. You can just take so much Adirondacks, then you have to go home.
It's all so terrible, Grandpa.
Yes, but it has a bright side.
How do you mean?
Well, for one thing, Mr. Kirby getting into that patrol wagon, I'll never forget the expression on his face when he and Donald had to bathe together if I live to be 100. And I warn you people, I intend to. If I can have things like that going on.
It was even worse with Mrs. Kirby. When the matron stripped her, there was a burlesque show dancer there, and she was singing a strip song while she undressed.
I'll bet you Bar Harbor's gonna seem pretty dull to the Kirbys this summer.
Need any help, Alice?
No, thanks, Grandpa. I'm just going to press these.
Alice.
Penny.
I'll bring the big bag down as soon as you're ready, Alice.
Thank you.
Would you like to take some candy along for the train, Alice?
No, thanks, Essie.
Well, you could be just as alone here as you could in the mountains. You could stay in your room all the time.
No, Mother, I want to be by myself, away from everyone. I love you, you know that, but I just have to go away for a while. I'll be all right. Father, did you phone for the cab?
No, I didn't know you wanted one.
I told Mr. Pepino to tell you. Paul, let me tell you.
Oh, he told me, but I forgot.
I wish I lived in a family that didn't always forget everything, that behaved the way other people's families do. I'm so sick of court cornflakes and Donald and everything. Why can't we be like other people's families with roast beef and 2 green vegetables and doilies on the table and a place you can bring your friends to without...
See if I can do anything.
Tony, talk to her. She's in the kitchen.
Thanks. Alice, please listen to me.
It's no use, Tony.
Alice, you're not even being fair. Just let me talk to you.
Where'd they go?
Upstairs.
She went out the moment he came in.
Knocked the olive oil right out of my hand. I'm gonna smell kind of fishy.
How you feeling, Mr. Peter? Your hand still hurting you?
No, it's better.
Everything burned up downstairs, huh?
Everything. And my Roman costume, too.
I told you there was a right side to everything. Except for my 23 years back income tax. I get another letter every day.
Say, what are you gonna do about that, Grandpa?
Well, I had a kind of idea about it yesterday. It might not work, but I'm going to try it anyhow.
Good evening, everybody.
Mr. Kolenkoff.
Forgive me, the door was open.
Come on in.
I realize that you are all upset.
It's quite all right, Mr. Kolenkoff.
I don't think I can take a lesson today, Mr. Kolkoff. I don't feel up to it.
Well,
Do please stay to dinner, Mr. Kolenkoff. We have all that food. Nobody's going to eat it.
I'll be happy to, Madam Sycamore.
Fine.
Thank you. Now, I wonder if I know you well enough to ask for a great favor.
Of course. What is it, Mr. Kolenkoff?
You have heard me talk about my friend, the Grand Duchess Olga Katrina.
Yes.
She is a great woman, cousin of the Tsar. But now she is waitress in child's restaurant.
Well, if there's anything we can do, Mr. Kolenkoff.
She has not had a good meal since before the revolution.
She must be hungry.
And today is not only her day off, Thursday, but it is also the anniversary of Peter the Great, a remarkable man.
Mr. Kolenkoff, if you're trying to ask if the Grand Duchess can come to dinner, why, we'd be honored.
Oh, yes!
In the name of the Grand Duchess, I thank you.
Hardly wait to meet her. Where is she now?
She is waiting out in the street. I will go get her.
And straighten a tie. I see your dress. How do I look? All right?
You know, if this keeps on, I'm going to live to be 150.
The Grand Duchess Olga Katrina. Your Highness, permit me to present Mrs. Sycamore, Mrs. Carmichael, Grandpa, Mr. Sycamore, Mr. Carmichael, and Mr. DePina.
All right now, Mr. DePina.
Would you be seated, Your Highness?
Thank you. You are most kind.
We're honored to have you, Your Highness.
I am most happy to be here. How soon is dinner?
Very soon, yes, quite soon.
I do not mean to be rude, but I must be back at the restaurant by 8 o'clock. I am substituting for another waitress.
I will make sure you...
No, that was my sister.
The Grand Duchess Natasha.
I work in Times Square.
Quite a lot of your folks living over here now, aren't there?
Oh, yes, many. There is my uncle, the Grand Duke Sergei. He's an elevator man at Macy's. A very nice man. Then there is my cousin, Prince Alexis. He will not speak to the rest of us because he works at Hattie Carnegie. He's in ladies' underwear.
He was willing to talk to you when he was selling hot dogs on Coney Island.
Our Kolenkoff, our time is coming. My sister, Natasha, is studying to be a manicurist. And Uncle Sergei, they have promised to make a floor walker. And next month, I get transferred to 5th Avenue's Childs. From there, there's only a step to Schraff's, and then we will see what Prince Alexis says.
I think you've got it.
Ha! You're telling me!
Your Highness, did you ever know the Tsar? Personally, I mean.
Of course, he was my cousin. It was terrible what happened to him, but perhaps it was for the best. Where could he get a job now?
Pravda, pravda, that is true.
And poor relations are poor relations. It is the same in every family. My cousin, the King of Sweden, he was very kind to us for about 10 years. He used to send us a money order every once in a while. But then he said, I just cannot go on. I'm not doing too well myself, and I do not blame him.
Well, of course not. Would you excuse me for a minute, Your Highness?
Grand Duchess, is it true what they say about Rasputin?
Everyone wants to know about Rasputin.
Yes, my dear sir, it is true. And how?
You don't say.
Your Highness, we have to watch the time.
Thank you, Conk. I must not be late. The manager does not like me. He's a communist.
I want you to go in the kitchen and see if you can help Reba.
Oh, I will help too. I am a very good cook.
But your highness, not on your day off.
But I love to cook. Where is your kitchen?
It's right through here, but you're the guest of honor, Your Highness.
I'm a very good cook. Come, Colin, if they have sour cream or hot cheese, I will make you some Berlinski.
Ah, Princess! Come, Pavlova! We show you something!
No, Duchess is alright, isn't she? Hey, Duchess, can I help?
She really is a very nice lady considering she's a Grand Duchess.
Oh my, she's got a wonderful face for a mask, hasn't she?
Wonderful what some people go through and still keep kind of gay.
She made me almost forget about everything for a minute.
I better call the cab, I suppose.
Wait a minute, Paul. Here comes Tony. Maybe he's...
Ed, will you go and bring my bags down, please?
What'd you do, Ed?
Ed, please.
All right, bring it down. You know you have the stubbornest daughter in all 48 states.
That must be the cab.
If it is, it's certainly wonderful service.
Is Tony here, Alice?
Yes. Yes, he is. Come in, Mr. Kirby.
How do you do?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Forgive my intruding. Tony wants you to come home with me. Your mother's very upset.
Very well, Father. Goodbye, Alice.
Goodbye, Tony.
I need hardly say that this is as painful to Mrs. Kirby and myself as it is to you people. I'm sorry, but I'm sure you understand.
Well, yes. And in a way, no. Now, I'm not the kind of person who tries to run other people's lives, but the fact is, Mr. Kirby, I don't think these two young people have got as much sense as you and I have.
Grandpa, will you please not do this?
I'm just talking to Mr. Kirby. A cat can look at a king, can't he?
Do you want me to do that for you, Alice?
No thanks, Mother.
You've got quite a while before the train arrives, Alice.
Will you please send a cab to 761 Claremont right away? That's right. Thank you.
Alice.
Father.
Are you ready, Tony?
Mr. Kirby, I suppose after last night you think this family is kind of crazy.
No, I would not say that. Although I'm not accustomed to going out to dinner and spending the night in jail.
Well, you've got to remember, Mr. Kirby, you came on the wrong night. Now tonight, I'll bet you nothing will happen at all. Maybe.
Mr. Vanderhoff, it was not merely last night that convinced Mrs. Kirby and myself that this engagement would be unwise.
Father, I can handle my own affairs. Alice, for the last time, will you marry me?
No, Tony. I know exactly what your father means, and he's right.
No, he's not, Alice.
Alice, you're in love with this boy. You're not marrying him because we're the kind of people we are.
Grandpa.
I know you don't think the two families would get along. Well, maybe they wouldn't, but who's to say they're right and we're wrong?
I didn't say that, Grandpa. I only feel...
Well, how I feel is that Tony here is too nice of a boy to wake up 20 years from now with nothing in his life but stocks and bonds.
How's that?
Yes. Mixed up and unhappy the way you are.
I beg your pardon, Mr. Vanderhoff. I am a very happy man!
Are you? Certainly I am. I don't think so. Where do you think you get your indigestion from? Happiness? No, sir. You get it because most of your time is spent in doing things you don't want to do.
I don't do anything I don't want to do.
Yes, you do. You said just last night that after a week in Wall Street, you're pretty near crazy. Why do you keep doing it?
Why do I keep... Why, that's my business. A man can't give up his business.
Why not? You've got all the money you need. You can't take it with you.
That's a very easy thing to say, Mr. Vanderhoff, but I have spent my entire life building up my business.
And what's it got you? Same mail every morning, same letters, same deals, same dinners at night, same indigestion. Where's the fun come in, Mr. Kirby? Don't you think there must be something more? You must have wanted something more than that when you started out. We haven't got too much time, you know? Any of us.
What do you expect me to do? Live the way you do? Do nothing?
Well, I have a lot of fun. Time enough for everything. Read, talk, visit the zoo now and then, practice my darts, even have time to notice when spring comes around. Don't talk to anybody I don't want to, and I haven't taken a bicarbonate of soda in 35 years. What's the matter with that?
The matter with that? Suppose we all did it. A fine world we'd have, everybody going to zoos. Don't be ridiculous, Mr. Vanderhoff. Who would do the work?
There are always people who like to work. You can't stop them. Inventions, they fly the ocean. There will always be people who do go down to Wall Street because they like it. But from what I've seen of you, I don't think you're one of them. I think you're missing something.
I'm not aware of missing anything.
Neither was I until I quit. I used to get down to that office, 9 o'clock sharp, every morning, no matter how I felt. Used to lay awake for nights for fear that I wasn't going to get that contract. Used to worry about the world. Got all worked up about whether Cleveland or Blaine was going to win the presidential election. Seemed rather important at the time, but who cares now? Look, Mr. Kirby, all I'm trying to say is that I have had 35 years that nobody can take away from me, no matter what they do to the world, see?
Yes, I do see. It's a very dangerous philosophy, Mr. Vanderhoff. It's un-American, and it's exactly why I'm opposed to this marriage. I don't want Tony to come under its influence.
What's the matter with it, Father?
Matter with it? It's downright communism, that's what it is.
You didn't always think so.
I most certainly did. What are you talking about?
I'll tell you exactly what I'm talking about. You didn't always think so, because there was a time when you wanted to be a trapeze artist.
Don't be an idiot, Tony.
Yes, you did. I read those letters you wrote to grandfather. Do you remember those?
No! How dared you read those letters? How dared you?
Oh, isn't that wonderful? Did you wear tights, Mr. Kirby?
Certainly not! The whole thing is absurd. I was 14 years old at the time.
Yes, but at 18 you wanted to be a saxophone player, didn't you?
Don't!
And at 21 you ran away from home because grandfather wanted you to go into the business. It's all down there in black and white. You didn't always think so.
Well, well, well.
I may have had silly notions in my youth, but thank God my father knocked them out of me. I went into the business and forgot about them.
Not altogether, Father. There's still a saxophone in the back of your clothes closet.
There is?
That's enough, Tony. We'll discuss this later.
No, I want to talk about it now. I think Mr. Vanderhoff is right, dead right. I'm never going back to that office. I've always hated it, and I'm not going on with it. And I'll tell you something else. I did make a mistake last night. I knew it was the wrong night, and I brought you here on purpose.
Tony.
For heaven's sake.
Because I wanted to wake you up. I wanted you to see a real family, as they really were. A family that loved and understood each other. You don't understand me. You never had the time. I'm not making your mistake. I'm clearing out.
Clearing out? What do you mean?
I mean, I'm not going to be pushed into business because I'm your son. I'm getting out while there's still time.
But Tony, what are you going to do?
I don't know, maybe I'll be a bricklayer or something. At least I'll be doing something I want to do.
That must be the cab.
Tell him to wait a minute, Ed.
Grandpa?
You mind, Alice? You know, Mr. Kirby, Tony is going through just what you and I did when we were his age. I think if you listen closely, you can hear yourself saying the very same things to your father 25 years ago. We all did it, and we were right. How many of us would settle when we're younger for what we eventually get? All those plans we make? What happens to them? It's only a handful of the lucky ones who can look back and say they even came close. So, before they clean out that closet, Mr. Kirby, I think I put in a few good hours on that saxophone.
I beg your pardon, but before I make the blintzes, how many will there be for dinner?
Your Highness, may I present Mr. Anthony Kirby and Mr. Kirby Jr., the Grand Duchess, Olga Katrina. How's that?
How do you do? Before I make the blintzes, how many will there be for dinner?
I make quite a stack of them, Your Highness. You can't ever tell.
Good. The Tsar always told me, Olga, do not be stingy with the blintzes.
Where did you say that was, Mr. Vanderhoff?
The Grand Duchess, Olga Katrina. She's cooking the dinner. Speaking of dinner, Mr. Kirby, why don't you and Tony both stay?
Oh, please do stay, Mr. Kirby. We have all that food that we were going to have last night. I mean, tonight.
Sounds like a pretty good dinner, Mr. Kirby. And it'll kind of give us a chance to get acquainted. Why not stay?
What do you say, Father? We're staying for dinner?
Why, if you'd care to, Tony, I'd like to, very much.
Now it's an Alice of qualified cabbage, Vanderhoff.
How about it, Alice? It's going to be a pretty good crowd. Don't you think you ought to stay for dinner?
I'm staying, Alice. The families ought to get to know each other, don't you think?
Mr. Kirby. Tony. Oh, Tony.
Darling.
Grandpa, you're wonderful.
I've been telling you that for years.
Grandpa, there was a letter in here for you. It was in the icebox.
Government again.
How do you do, Mr. Kirby?
How do you do?
Now, Miss Sigmore, if you come into my office, I'd like to do a little dictating.
I better tell that back. Well, well, well.
What is it, Grandpa?
The government apologizes. It seems I died 8 years ago. Remember Charlie, the milkman, buried under my name?
Yes.
Well, I just told them they made a mistake, and that I was Martin Vanderhoff Jr. Well, they're very sorry, and I may even get a refund.
All right, Grandpa.
You're an old crook.
Sure.
Pardon me, how did you say you escaped the income tax, Mr. Vanderhoff?
Tonight, my friend, you are going to eat.
Hello there.
How do you do?
Fine, fine. Glad to see you.
Good to See you! What has happened?
He's relaxing. Play something, Ed.
Boom, tie, ta-ra-ra, 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 boom, tie, ta-ra-ra.
Everything will be ready in a minute. You can sit down now. Come on, everybody, come sit down. Oh, would you be seated, Mr. Kirby?
Yes, come.
Mr. Kirby, you like Russian food.
Oh, but you must be careful of your indigestion.
None since I haven't any indigestion.
So, Miss Sycamore, how was your trip to the Adirondacks?
Shut your face, Mr.
In Russia, they sit down to dinner.
Quiet, everybody. Quiet. Well, sir, here we are again. We want to say thank you for everything you've done for us. Things seem to be going along fine. Alice is going to marry Tony, and it seems they're going to be very happy together. Of course, the fireworks blew up the basement, but that's Mr. Dupina's fault. Not yours. We've all got our health, and as far as anything else is concerned, we'll leave it to you. Thank you.
Grandpa, I have heard from my friend in Siberia. He has escaped again.
Save me the stamp.
I'm gonna dance for you later, Mr. Kirby. I thought you was
Princess, that's for music, Lord. Tell me, Mr. Kirby, what do you think of the securities?
We need to start thinking about next year's fireworks, Mr. Arena.
Well, here goes the Adirondacks.
A very good thing, too.
Closing night as usual. And so we kind of want to give a little thank you. The seniors want to say thank you to a couple people, and I will be right back.
Well, first off, we could have Mr. Taylor and Miss Wilson. Or first off, we'd like to thank the two people that the two people that not many people realize are doing as much as they do. Miss K, I'm not sure, is that Miss K right there?
Yep.
Yep, there she is. Miss K. Mr. Richard Stas, who built some of this. We also had a man named Mr. Robinson come and help us. So if we can give those two people. The two fearless leaders of the Wesleyan High School Theater, Mr. Clark Taylor and Miss Wilson, come down. Lindsay and I, as has become tradition, would like to sort of say a few words of thanks to both of these fine people. Miss Wilson, no, she's not, I'm not sure exactly what her title is, but you know, she might as well be called the mom of the theater program. There's pretty much nothing that could happen here without her. She's just the catalyst that gets us all going. And I remember, just so many memories. It's crazy. And Mr. Clark Taylor, he is, you know, the founder of this Wesleyan Theater program. I can't imagine it just wouldn't be Wesleyan Theater without this man. He's, you know, a lot of other directors are, you know, just get the setup, get the costumes on, memorize your lines, and there you go. But Mr. Taylor is you know, he thinks of us as artists, as professionals, not just as high school students saying a bunch of lines. And I really appreciate him for that.
And Miss Wilson, I could not have gotten through all the drama that actually does happen backstage. And she's always there for us. She's always kicking us into shape when Mr. Taylor's not. And I can't see doing a show without her and going off to college next year. It's just going to be really weird not having her in my life. And I'm going to miss her like crazy. I keep telling him that when I'm in Hollywood, when I'm accepting my awards, I'll remember him. Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Everything that you see here that is good acting is him. Everything that's bad acting is not him. So I don't know what we would do without someone like him. I can't imagine being in a theater with another director, and I just came in as a little fledgling freshman and not knowing really anything about theater, just having done some middle school shows, and now 14 shows later, here I am. And so I was at all of Mr. T. So thank you.
I'm really new to this. This is my first play, but I can definitely vouch for this. I know I knew nothing about theater coming into any of this. Just kind of knew I wanted to throw myself out there and try to see what I could learn. But both of them taught me absolutely everything there is to know that they can teach you in 5 weeks. Less than that? Wow. But yeah, Mr. Taylor's been right there helping me out with everything that we had to get through this play. And Miss Wilson always taking my costume questions. I asked her 5 billion costumes. It's okay. Should I close it? Should I what? So, I don't know. She's, I definitely treated the mom of the theater. She's absolutely everything. So, yeah, I would definitely say thank you to you guys. You guys are incredible.
Yeah, this is my first play. It's been great. Mr. Taylor's a great guy. You know, I'd come in here, never done a play, never done anything, and so I'm sort of freaking out, and you know, he's sort of telling me what to do, sort of helping me out, and I got through it. I survived. And actually, when I'd get in trouble, he'd straighten out. Miss Wilson was always great. You know, I'd be freaking out about my hair and everything like that, trying to figure out what's going on, all this stage lingo. You know, but she was always there to help me out, and it's been a blast. So, thank you so much.
I've been kind of behind the scenes, so I haven't really gotten as much like acting direction from them, but it's just been awesome to see how much they care about each and every single person in the cast. Like, they spend so much time behind the scenes, just trying to make everything fit together like it does, and just thank you so much.
We love you.
Thank you, folks. It's been a terrific season for us, and what a show for us to close out with. But please give all these great kids another hand.